What's up, guys? So, Francis Ngannou fought about a week ago on the Netflix card, and honestly, whenever he fights, it kind of makes me sad. Just because, knowing that we're not going to see him back in the UFC after he actually looks like pretty good outside of the UFC is always annoying. Basically, in this video, I kind of wanted to go over hypotheticals. If Francis was back in the UFC today, how would he do? How would he stack up against like the top 10, top 5 people? And basically, yeah, just some thoughts about Francis in general. So, again, on May 16th, about a week ago, he knocked out Philip Lins in the first round. Obviously, I don't even know who Philip Lins is. I'm guessing this is like an Uber driver they found. Oh, it looks like he fought in the UFC a little bit. I didn't even know that, to be honest. But either way, Francis got past him pretty easily. There was some struggle, not gonna lie. Like, it looked like Philip had a good game plan, or at least a decent game plan, right? I mean, he still got knocked down the first round, but he was able to like land some good shots on Francis before the knockout, and it was really when he started exchanging that he got knocked out. And yeah, so he was able to land some good shots. Obviously, he's not even like a heavyweight. I know that. I know he's like a light heavyweight or something, and he was moving up. I mean, maybe that had an impact on his power and why he couldn't really hurt Francis at all. But either way, he started exchanging. He got knocked out in the first round by Francis Ngannou. And yeah, I just want to go over kind of some fighters here and give my thoughts. So Derek Lewis obviously does have a win over Francis. I think now, just because of how bad Derek has looked recently, that we can give that to Francis. Just because like he's looked so bad. Like I want him to beat Hokit so bad, just because I don't like Hokit. But I think that he's probably gonna get knocked out. Just because look, like this fight was the worst. Like I think he got like jabbed and he just kind of sat down. Oh, I remember these fights. But this is again like a whole almost a year before. Like he barely fights now. Look, 2024, 2025, 2026. I think the inactivity would hurt him, and it has hurt him. I think Francis would definitely beat Derek Lewis now. Rizvan Kuniev is not bad, but I think Francis would definitely beat him. I don't think like. I think he would just land a good shot and knock him out, to be honest. I don't think he would lose. I mean, that's pretty much all I have to say about that matchup. I don't know too much about Rizwan, to be honest, but I do think that Francis would beat him. I watched his fight against Almeida. He looked pretty good, but, it is like he was getting tagged a little bit by Almeida. And obviously Almeida and Francis are on like different levels of boxing. Curtis Blades, this would be an interesting fight. I could see Blades like lasting for sure, like a decision. But do I see him winning? Probably not. Yeah, if he hasn't fixed that takedown thing where he like ducks down, and Francis times that, it could just go exactly like the Derek fight. Because I don't think they've ever fought before, right? Curtis Blades and Francis. I don't think they've ever fought. Okay, I was wrong. They have fought before. Wow, I did not know that. And he knocked him out. Dang. I've definitely seen this fight before, like a long time ago. I just don't remember. Wow. Okay, so I guess we already know the answer to that one. Sergey definitely does not beat Francis. Francis will knock him out. Trying to wrestle Francis is hard. Sergey would just have a problem with the boxing, and of course, and he would also not really be able to have success taking him down, in my opinion. Josh Hokit. I think that. He could make it a brawl for sure, and it could turn into like whoever lands first. But Francis is probably gonna land first, and if Francis lands, he's gonna knock him out. If Josh lands, it's not like a for sure he's gonna knock out Francis. I know he's got power, he's got decent wrestling, but Francis again has good takedown defense. He's got good wrestling, good jiu-jitsu. Not like elite level. He's not like Almeida or anything, but if we can even call him elite. But yeah, I mean, I think it would be enough. 9-0, right? 9-0. It's a pretty impressive record. Yeah, it would be tough for Francis to find the shot potentially. If Hokit fights just like he did against Blades, which he probably will, then he would get knocked out, in my opinion. And yeah, moving on. Not lightweight. All right, Waldo Cortez Acosta. This would be a good fight. Honestly, you can't sleep on Waldo here. Waldo actually does have really good boxing. I was surprised in the Volkov fight. Obviously, not that they gave him the fight, or not that they let him lose. Not that they gave Volkov the decision, but just the fact that he did so good. He actually had some really good setups in the boxing. It looked like, and he was able to land shots on such a big, tall dude like Volkov, which a lot of people struggle to land shots on. and he was able to get some good clean shots on him, starting to come back I think in round 3. And yeah, I mean, we can't sleep on him here. I think that, Francis would maybe take a wrestling approach like when he can see the opportunity. But has anyone even really wrestled him? Like, I don't think he's fought like an actual wrestler. Like, I can't. I don't think he's fought an actual good wrestler. Oh, Spivak. Here we go. Spivak's not bad. So he got 2 takedowns. It's not gonna tell me the control time, but it says he got 2 takedowns. I doubt he did much with it then, because he got one in round 1 and 3, and that would be like, that would be enough to win the fight. But he lost the fight. So yeah, I think that he probably hasn't really fought someone that good in terms of wrestling, and Francis could take that approach against him if he's like if he doesn't get knocked out first, because Waldo has very good power as well. So yeah, I think it would be tough. This is a tough fight for Francis. I think the wrestling approach would be an easier path to victory, just because Waldo's really skilled in the boxing. So I guess I would slightly lean towards Francis, just because he has more tools and more like pound for pound power. They're the same weight class, but still, like he definitely has more power. He has more power than everyone in this division. So yeah, I would slightly lean towards Francis in that matchup, but that's a tough fight. Sergey Pavlovich is another tough fight. This guy's got really good boxing, but he's hittable. I think Francis would hit him and knock him out. He's got to be careful because Sergey could time him as well. This is what, like, as we get higher, of course, it just gets harder to win for Francis. But again, Sergey Pavlovich versus Francis Ngannou now, it's tough, man, because I don't think Francis would be able to really wrestle him. We haven't really seen anyone wrestle Sergey, like even try, and usually he just knocks them out, right? When was the last time he fought? It's been so long, it feels like. Oh, he beat Cortez Acosta. Oh shit, I don't even know. So August 2025, that's literally like almost a year ago now. I don't know. I don't see anyone really with wrestling here. It's not like Francis is like a D1 wrestler, but I'm just saying, he does have some good wrestling now. He's got good jiu-jitsu. As his careers went on, you can tell he's just developing that ground game, and now it's at a pretty decent point. I feel like he's got like decent jiu-jitsu now for heavyweight Francis. So yeah, against Sergey, I would slightly lean towards Francis, not gonna lie, but scary matchup again. I would lean towards Francis just because he can catch him. He always has that factor. But it would be tough. I could see a world where Sergey outpoints him. And speaking of outpoint, Volkov, exact same thing. Like I would go like 50-50 on this one, just because like I could see a world 100% or Volkov just kind of kicks him at range the whole fight, like he always tries to do. And I don't think Francis would have too much success on the ground. Maybe he would, because Volkov did get taken down by Gon a few times, and Francis did, we all know what Francis did to Gon, so maybe he would. I don't know if he can use MMA math like that when it's wrestling, but I think it's a decent point of argument. I think if Francis can get Volkov down, then he just have to be wary of like Kimuras and stuff. That's literally what Volkov does every single time, just Kimuras from half guard. And if he can avoid that, then he'd be okay. Of course, like the ground and pound from Francis is like you can't take any of those. So it'd be cool to see like how Volkov would respond if Francis just starts throwing down bombs at him. Yeah, so I could see a world where Volkov beats him. But for me, it's like if he mixes up the grappling, like these fights become so much easier. Like Waldo comes easier, Sergey maybe comes easier, probably does though. Volkov could become easier if he's able to avoid the grappling, but we'll have to see. Gon, he already beat Gon. I think that he would probably win again. Gon does look better on the feet, like in every fight, besides the Volkov one, I guess. But Gon has looked okay on the feet, like recently. Like I know that the Tom one was so short, and people go like, "Oh, you can't judge off of that," and you can't. But still, like he did look pretty good. I don't think it would be like the hugest difference. I want to see how he looks in June when he fights Alex, but I think Francis could honestly, he honestly could be Gon again, and I don't think that he would be the underdog either. I think Gon would probably be the underdog in that matchup, and yeah, if Francis is able to get him down, I highly doubt that Gon would be able to really do much off his back. He'd probably just try to get up rather than look for a submission. But I mean, to be fair though, Gon did low key almost win the first time. Like people forget that it was literally 2-2, and in the last round he like took down Francis, and for some reason he went back for an ankle lock because he thought that he was down, so he's like, all right, I gotta submit him, and then he lost position and lost the rest of the round. If he didn't do that, he probably would have been champion that night, which is kind of crazy to think about, especially because of how much Francis put his career on that fight and his whole leverage on that fight. And he almost lost, which is kind of crazy. But anyway, I would go Francis again, for sure. Tom Aspinall, probably the hardest fight, because he can't wrestle Tom. Like, he's not going to be able to wrestle Tom. Let's be real. I just think Tom's too big to get wrestled like that. And I think, obviously, the jiu-jitsu as well. Like, he obviously practices jiu-jitsu a lot. So, yeah, I don't think the wrestling would be a factor. And Tom has fought like these powerful boxers before in Sergey, so he has experience with these guys. So far, I think I've chosen Francis against everyone here. The toughest fights are these two right here. I think he beats Gon and Waldo, looking back, but these two are the toughest fights so far. If we're going against the champion, I could see Tom knocking him out, to be honest, just because he has looked so good in his last few fights. I know against Cyril Gane he was kind of getting exposed, but he has beaten Sergey in like a minute. Volkov, he submitted him like literally no one else has submitted Volkov since, I think. And Volkov's actually got some decent jiu-jitsu. So Tom has pretty much beaten like a lot of people in this division, and I think that if Francis were to come back and fight him, I could see Tom winning again. So that's like the one fight I'll probably lean towards the opponent. So I'll lean towards Tom because So these are like 50-50s. This is like I lean towards Tom, and everyone else here I slightly lean, maybe not slightly for every single one, but I lean towards Francis. Yeah, and that's pretty much it for the division. If he did come back, obviously, very, very hypothetical. Like, Dana's never going to let this guy back in. It does suck because, like, again, I hate seeing him fight because I know, like, just watching him fight, he can't come back to the UFC. And it's like, man, like, if he could, like, that would be so cool. The Predator, that nickname hasn't really aged very well. But, yeah, anyway, like, Francis is a beast. It would be cool to see him back in the UFC. It's not going to happen. I know that, dude, I remember he called out John Jones. If that did happen, that would be an insane fight. That would be so fun. It'd be cool to see if John can still deal with someone like this. So powerful, right? Has some wrestling, decently active. I mean, he fought in 2026, and then before that, 2024. So not that active, but still, it'd be a good fight. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have today for this video. I don't want to drag things on too much, but yeah, I just want to do like a hypothetical thing here. So if you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing for more content just like it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.